Adventures Child Care and Learning Center plans a curriculum that is play-based, child-focused, and plans for the physical, social, emotional and cognitive growth of students. Through the course of this training you will learn more about Adventures Child Care and Learning Center's curriculum, including what Learning Center enrichments are, guided play, and how it is implemented, and the importance of observations and making the learning visible. The goal of this training is to guide teachers in prioritizing observation and planning curriculum with intentional learning outcomes. By the end of this training, participants will be able to create a lesson plan including Learning Center enrichments and 2 guided play activities. Adventures Child Care and Learning Center creates its own unique curriculum. The curriculum is play-based and emerges from the interest of the children and developmentally appropriate practices. Lead teachers create weekly lesson plans based on the needs, interest, and abilities of the children in the classroom. While a weekly lesson plan is in place, lead teachers are encouraged to follow the interest of the children, even if that means deviating from the lesson plan to pursue a teachable moment. Adventures curriculum advances cognitive growth through the implementation of thematic or project-based learning. Teachers take into consideration the interests of the students and intentionally plan opportunities for children to explore the topics further and become engaged in hands-on activities based on their interest. The implementation of projects helps children develop skills to become lifelong learners and search for answers to their curiosities. Teachers frequently ask open-ended questions during guided play to help further the children's understanding and curiosity on the subject. The uses of these open-ended questions also help the children to develop problem-solving skills that allow them to become more independent and prepare them for advanced independent learning. Literacy is a key component to early learning. Quality books are used as anchor text to give context, examples and ideas that can then be implemented, tested, explored and practiced in their daily play. Deeply exploring a theme or topic requires focus over the course of weeks or even months. And the best themes or projects relate to families, community, or things that grow, for example, are highly relevant to children's experiences and interests. When children explore themes and projects, they develop a deep understanding of content and a wide breadth of skills. Children who develop this deep understanding are able to do a variety of thought-demanding things, like explaining why something happens or applying knowledge and skills to a new topic or situation. In this way, children expand not only their knowledge, but their approaches to thinking and problem-solving as well. Children are given ample opportunity for investigation, discovery, art, dramatic play and social interactions. We do not separate the curriculum into discrete blocks of time for math, language, etc. Instead, children are given the opportunity through investigation, discovery, art, dramatic play, and social interactions. Subjects such as literacy and numeracy are woven through all activities taking place in each of the traditional learning domains and centers. Making learning visible means showcasing what children have learned and how they learn it in a way that depicts the process and not necessarily the end result. Focusing on the end result can often hide the journey children experience to reach their final outcome. Using reflective practice to make the invisible visible has many benefits. When we make children's learning visible, it gives educators, families and children the chance to reflect on what occurred and the process it took to get there. Visible learning benefits everyone. Children can feel proud of their achievements, and it creates a strong sense of belonging in the space. With each new experience or extension, we create a display in our classroom of the progress and direction in which children's ideas and questions lead us. Using photos, descriptions, artifacts and quotes, children's learning is displayed for them to see aesthetically. As a living document, this can be changed and added to when new ideas or topics arise and interests expand. A range of resources are used for our documentation to be visible, such as online platforms, visual displays and class books. Adventures educators conduct daily investigative work through observation, documentation and collection of work samples, photographs, videos. The collection of this documentation is used to create displays around the classroom that allow students to reflect on their own work and demonstrate their understanding. The curriculum should take into consideration and incorporate the child's interest, the child's strengths. Give students frequent opportunities to share information about their lives and cultures. Be mindful of home languages and look for ways to incorporate children's home language into the curriculum. Develop authentic, caring relationships. Relationships establish trust and respect. Crucial ingredients for learning. Learn how to say students' names correctly. Give students chances to share what's happening in their lives. Create a welcoming classroom. Think about whether your classroom sends a message that students are welcome and that great things are possible for their learning. Look at your classroom walls. Ask yourself whether all of your students can find relatable visuals and props from a diverse range of fields and backgrounds. You can also involve students in setting up the classroom. Think about whether all your students get regular, authentic messages of affirmation. Include different kinds of diversity in your classroom materials. Think about ethnicity, language, ability, gender, and socioeconomic experiences. Watch out for materials that perpetuate stereotypes or insulting depictions of diverse communities. Explore resources to deepen your own understanding. Culturally responsive teaching is a chance to reflect on your personal perspective. You can also use a culturally responsive lens to learn about the broader forces that shape the lives of students. During guided play, adults are actively engaged mentally, physically, socially, and prepared. Teachers resist the urge to complete paperwork, be on your cell phone, or engage in other tasks that can wait. They closely observe children to discover their interest, points of view, and developmental milestones. While children are actively engaged in learning centers, adults observe children and watch what they are doing, how they are playing, what their interests are. Adults keep notebooks, index cards, or post-it notes with them at all times to write brief observations and notes. This information is reviewed weekly and used to develop themes, projects, learning center enrichments, and additional guided play opportunities. Adventure educators participate in an ongoing cycle of reflective practice that involves taking the time to stop, think, challenge, and change their practices in order to incorporate new understandings and advance children's learning and development. One reflective practice utilized by Adventure's teachers involves mind mapping children's interest, schema, and developmental needs. Mind mapping allows the educators to brainstorm and organize information to develop a picture of both interest and learning developmental needs for each student. Educators then develop activities that support the children's interests and needs. Lesson plans consist of planning learning center enrichments. A learning center is a self-contained section of the classroom in which students engage in independent and self-directed play. Centers are intentionally designed and planned to enhance the learning of concepts, skills, themes, or topics. Enrichments are the materials that will be added to the pre-existing center. These materials are intended to scaffold the children into more complex play and thinking. For this section of the lesson plan, you are going to reflect on what you have observed the children doing repeatedly in the learning centers through the play schema. Based on what you have observed, what materials or play invitations or provocations will you add to the learning center? These invitations can be swapped out for other materials or added as an addition to the already available learning materials. You should try to come up with at least 2 to 3 additional materials, invitations, provocations, or props to the area with intention of meeting the interest and needs of the children. Resist the temptation to add too many invitations or provocations to the area. This will be overwhelming for the children, and you and the children will be less likely to benefit from the experience. Lesson plans also include the planning of guided play. During guided play, teachers intentionally plan the learning activity with specific learning goals. The teachers observe the children during play and may ask open-ended questions, prompt inquiry through questions and conversation, support the children's interest by providing anchor text, and help the children find answers to questions, introduce new vocabulary, model new ways to play with materials. The goal is to empower the children to have confidence and take pride in their growing sense of self and their relationships with others. Guided play is supported by educators to scaffold the learning in a playful context. Free play is completely child-selected and directed. Why use guided play? It promotes higher-level thinking skills and learning. It provides a more supportive approach for motivating children during playtime. It creates an intentional, playful learning time that involves both children and educators as active participants. How to use guided play. Be present, actively engaged, mentally, physically, socially, and prepared. Tip: while children are playing, resist the urge to complete paperwork, be on your cell phone, or engage in other tasks that can wait. Closely observe children to discover their interests and points of view. Tip: children will be highly motivated to engage in playful learning when you help them explore items and concepts that are interesting to them. Provide plenty of time and space for small groups to play together. Tip: working beside each other and collaborating with each other promotes children's social skills, such as sharing, conflict resolution, and collaboration. Before you start looking for guided play opportunities with the children in your learning environment, you should identify the needs of each child. It's important to know where each child is developmentally and what their next developmental milestones are. Consider the skills each child is actively trying to develop and which skills they are struggling to master. With this information, you can determine the best ways to encourage the development of these skills through play. 6 strategies for finding guided play opportunities. Using roles and scenarios. Model social behavior and provides context and practice for children to understand how to appropriately interact with others and their environment. Using props or materials. Enhance learning and increases engagement. Extending the play theme. Incorporate a learned skill or topic into other parts of the day. Using enriching language. Enhance vocabulary by using words that are more descriptive when communicating. Open-ended questions. Utilize meaningful and productive questions to strategically extend a child's learning. Planning for play. Encourage children to plan their play, fostering skills that prepare them for many real-life experiences. Strategies don't occur in isolation. Share opportunities with families. More than one opportunity can happen at once. Get to know the children in your care. Let's outline the parts of a guided play activity in more detail. Learning outcomes are what you want the children to learn or be able to do after the activity. The learning outcomes should be measurable using Bloom's taxonomy verbs. See the next slide for a list of verbs. Indiana Early Learning Foundations comprise Indiana's early learning development framework and are aligned to the 2014 Indiana Academic Standards. This framework provides core elements that children should achieve from birth to age 5 to be ready for future success. The foundation sets forth common language and expectations for all types of staff working in the early childhood field. In 2015, the foundations were revised based on research, feedback from practitioners, and work from professionals with expertise in each specialized area. The Indiana Department of Education's Early Learning Guidance is a resource for educators and other early childhood professionals to support and enhance children's learning and development while using the foundations. The information can be used to support a child's development at different levels of learning and promotes fluid movement between developmental stages. For activity description, describe what you will do for the activity and what supplies you might need. For guided play strategies, describe how you will implement one or more of these strategies. See slide 16 to review those strategies in greater detail. Accommodations are adaptations which allow the student equal opportunity to obtain access, results, benefits, and levels of achievement. Accommodations should address both lower skill level and more advanced skill levels. This completes the Training on Adventures curriculum. To receive credit for completing this training, you will need to develop a lesson plan using the link to